Hello students, we are learning English grammar. We are going to study punctuation today. This is the second part of the chapter. So let us start with inverted commas. Inverted commas are used to indicate the beginning and end of direct speech. Now, as we have studied the chapter direct and indirect speech, we already know that inverted commas are used to indicate a direct speech. They are used at the beginning and at the end of the direct speech. But sometimes we also see double inverted commas instead of single inverted commas. So there's no difference between single inverted commas and double inverted commas altogether. The only difference is that single inverted commas are used in American English and double inverted commas are used in British English. This is the only difference. Inverted commas are used to emphasize a word in a sentence. To emphasize means to highlight or to give importance. So, for example, what does the word punctilious mean? Now here, this word punctilious is emphasized. Here this is highlighted. That's why inverted commas are used before and after this word. We use single inverted commas to denote the name of a ship, an essay, or a poem. Now this means we use inverted commas generally for the names. That means for the proper nouns. Whenever we want to highlight proper nouns, we use inverted commas. For example, The Listeners is a poem written by Walter de la Mare. So here the listeners is the name of the poem, which is a proper noun. To highlight it, to emphasize it, to give it more importance, inverted commas are used at the beginning and at the end of this word. Let us see where to use apostrophe. The apostrophe is used to denote the possessive case of nouns. So we have been studying possessive nouns since lower grades, so we are already familiar with it. Let's see some examples. Priya's dress. So here an apostrophe is used because this is the possessive case of the noun or the possessive noun. Manish's book. So here too apostrophe is used. The apostrophe is used to denote the possessive of plural nouns that ends in S. So, if you notice the previous example, Priya and Manish, these nouns are singular nouns. And the examples, here the girls dance, the knives handles. Here the girls and the knives, they are plural nouns. So apostrophe is used in possessives of singular noun as well as in possessives of plural noun. The only difference is in singular noun where there is no S. Remember, singular nouns don't have S. Consider Priya. So here apostrophe is added before S in case of singular nouns. In case of possessives of singular nouns, but in case of possessives of plural noun, apostrophe is added after S. So this is the only difference. Let's revise it again. In case of singular nouns, in case of possessives of singular nouns, apostrophe is used before S, but in case of possessives of plural nouns, apostrophe is used after S. The next point, the apostrophe is used to denote the omission of a letter or letters. Here omission means to remove or to skip or to avoid. This means omission or omit. So whenever we have omitted a single letter or letters, we use apostrophe to denote, to say that we have omitted something. For example, there's nobody here. So there's is the short form of there is. So to denote that we have omitted I, we use an apostrophe. The apostrophe is used to form the plurals of letters, figures. For example, divide 4 eighths by 2 fours. Now these are figures 8 and 4. So to make plural of these figures, to make plural of numbers, we add apostrophe and then s. Mind your P's and Q's. So here P's, P is a letter, Q is also a letter. So to make plural nouns of letters, here we have used apostrophe s. So to make plurals of letters as well as figures or numbers, we use apostrophe. Now let us look at the use of comma. The comma is used to separate words in a series. In a series means in a list when there are several words. When there are more than one words, when there are several words, we use comma to separate these words. For example, Arun was cheerful, talkative, hardworking and sincere. Here we have many adjectives. Here we have a series of adjectives like cheerful, talkative, hardworking, sincere. So we have used comma to separate these adjectives, to separate these words. Also note that comma is not used before the last word in the list. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 words in the list, and if you notice, before the last word we have used and, before the last word we have not used the comma. So this is the rule. We use comma for the series where there are more than 3 words or more than 2 words. If there are more than 2 words, we write the first word and then we write and we write the second word. If there are more than 2 words, so we write first word, comma, second word and then we write word number 3. So this is how it goes. I asked the greengrocer to get me some tomatoes, carrots, potatoes and onions. So here also you will be able to see commas are used for the series of words and at the end and is used. The comma is used to separate short phrases that go together in pairs. So let us see what are short phrases that go together in pairs. Let us look at the example. Experienced or inexperienced, qualified or unqualified, everybody appear for the interview. So here there are words in pairs. Experienced or inexperienced, qualified or unqualified. So these are the words that go in pairs and they go together. They go together means we cannot write experienced and qualified, inexperienced and unqualified. We cannot write experienced and unqualified or inexperienced and qualified. These are certain words which go together in pairs. So for such words, we use comma in between them. The comma is used to separate short clauses. Now we have already studied the chapter clauses and their types, so you already know what are clauses. So a comma is used to separate short clauses. For example, how Sheila manages to read so much. How she keeps herself so well informed is a mystery to all of us. Now here, this is the first phrase. How Sheila manages to read so much. This is the second phrase. And this is the third phrase. These are several short clauses. I'm sorry, these are clauses. So these are separate clauses, and to separate these clauses, comma is used. The comma is used to separate a word or a group of words to address a person at the beginning or sometimes at the end of a sentence. For example, Mona, can I ask you a favor? Can I ask you for a favor, Mona? Now here this point means whenever we are addressing a person, that means whenever we are calling a person by their name, we use a comma after the name or before the name. Look at this sentence. Here the sentence starts with Mona. Can I ask you a favor? So here comma will be used after Mona because there's nothing before Mona. Look at the second example. Can I ask you for a favor, Mona? So here before Mona, before the name of the person, the comma will be used because after this there's nothing. So whenever we are addressing a person, whenever we are calling a person by their name, we use comma either before the name of the person or after the name of the person. The comma is used before the introduction of direct speech after the reporting verb. Now we know this as well. Let us look at the example. Naveen said, I'm writing an article for the school magazine. So if you notice, there's a comma here at this place. So this comma is used before the introduction of the direct speech and after the reporting verb. So here said is the reporting verb and this is the direct speech. So the comma is used here in between. The comma is used to mark off expressions or words from the rest of the sentence. For example, Mehak has been overworking. In fact, she has been complaining of a headache for the past few days. So here comma is used to mark off expressions or words. So here in fact is an expression. Commas are used before words like in fact or actually or you know. There are certain expressions which we use in daily life. Like I said, the examples are in fact or actually or you know, or there are several such expressions. So commas are used to separate such expressions from the rest of the sentence. The comma is used to separate a non-defining relative clause from the rest of the sentence. Now, because we have already studied relative clauses and their types, I'll remind you again that non-defining relative clauses are also called as non-restrictive clauses. So non-restrictive and non-defining relative clauses are the same. So the commas are used to separate such non-defining relative clauses. For example, Linda, who has lovely brown eyes, is the team leader. Now we know that who has lovely brown eyes, this is the non-defining relative clause or this is the non-restrictive clause. So this clause is separated by commas. Nagpur, which is known for oranges, is a hot city. Again, the central portion is a non-defining relative clause, so it is separated by commas. The comma is used to separate the if clause from the rest of the sentence. So we have also studied what are if clauses in the past when we were studying types of clauses. So comma is also used to separate the if clause from the rest of the sentence. That means if there are two sentences and if any of these sentences is an if clause, then that is separated by a comma from the rest of the sentence. Let us look at capital letters now. Capital letters are used for proper nouns like names of persons, places, cities, countries, etc. You know what are proper nouns. So capital letters are always used for proper nouns. The first letter of the proper noun should always be capital. These are the examples. Capital letters capital letters are used for the first letter of the first word of every sentence. We already know this. Capital letter is always used to start a sentence. Now most of us are already aware about it, but we don't follow this, and it can be very easily seen in your notebooks and your answer sheets. So please make a note of it. Always start your sentences with capital letters. Capital letters are generally used at the beginning of each line of poetry. Now in poetry, punctuation is a little on the lower side. That means the rules of punctuation do not apply everywhere in poetry. So even if there is no full stop in the previous sentence, the next sentence in a poetry will always start with a capital letter. So in the poetry, every line will start with a capital letter. Capital letters are used at the beginning of quotations and interjections. Now, quotations means some important quotes, thoughts which are said by famous people. Interjection means words that show feelings like oh, like wow, like bravo, like hurrah. So, such words are called interjections. Let us look at the example. He said, a rolling stone gathers no moss. Now, this is a quote. So, this quote has started with a capital letter. That is the rule. Hurrah, bravo, we have done it. Now, hurrah and bravo, both of them are interjections, but both of them have started with capital letters. Capital letters are used for all the words in the titles of stories, articles, essays, etc., except the articles, prepositions, and conjunctions. Now, this means whenever we are referring to the title of stories or articles or essays, in that case, every word of the title will be capital. Every word will start with a capital letter except article or preposition or conjunction. Let us look at the example. Emma by Jane Austen. So Emma is a very famous book. So this has started with a capital letter. Jane Austen. Jane Austen. Here these two also have started with capital letter because this is a proper noun. This is the name of the author. But by is not in capital letter because by is a preposition. A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. So as you can see, every word has started with a capital letter except of and by because they are prepositions. So that is the rule. In the titles of stories or articles or essays, all the words will start with capital letter, but articles, preposition and conjunctions will not be capital. Capital letters are used for the official names of government offices and titles of officials of high rank. So all the government offices, the names of government offices will be capital, and the title of officials of high rank will be capital. That means the people of high post, the title of the high post will be capital. Let us look at the examples. The Ministry of Human Resources, this is the name of a government office. So as you can say, all the words have started with capital letters except of because it is a preposition. The Chief Election Commissioner. Now this is the title of officials of high rank. This is a post. This is a high post. So you can see all the words have started with capital letter. Capital letters are used for the letters in abbreviations. Now abbreviations means short forms. So whenever we write anything in short forms, all the letters will be capital. For example, NASA, which is a short form, DRDO, which is again a short form. So all the letters are capital. Capital letters are used for nouns and pronouns referring to God. So whenever we refer to God, all the nouns and even the pronouns will be capital. So whenever we refer God as He will be capital even if it is in the middle of a sentence. But only if He is used for God. If He is used for any other person, it will be small if it is used in the middle of a sentence. So all the nouns and pronouns which are used for God are always capital. For example, Lord Almighty. So you can see L is capital and He is also capital. Exclamation mark. The exclamation mark is used after words, phrases and sentences that express sudden feelings of surprise, joy, sorrow, wish, hope, etc. So we all know where exclamation mark is used. We have been studying it since a very long time. Let us look at the examples. Bravo, you spoke really well. Now bravo is an interjection. So with interjections also we use exclamation mark because it is a sudden feeling of joy. It is a sudden feeling of happiness. How delightfully warm the sun is. Again, this is a feeling of surprise, a feeling of happiness. So exclamation mark is used. The exclamation mark may be used after a sudden order. For example, get out. We don't want you here. So here get out is an order. So in case of order too, we use exclamation mark. Let us look at the uses of full stop. The full stop or period is used at the end of a sentence, a command or a request. So a full stop, which is also called as period, is used at the end of the sentence. It is used at the end of a command or at the end of a request. For example, Rakesh sings well, full stop is used. It is a sentence. Pick up your bag, full stop is used at the end. It is a command. Please leave the door open. Full stop is used at the end. It is a request. The full stop is used to separate hours from minutes and in decimal fractions. For example, the plane took off at 9:30 in the evening. Now 9:30 is the time. Here 9 stands for hours and 30 stands for minutes. So we use full stop between hours and minutes. We also use full stops in decimal fractions. For example, 9.5%. So this point is a full stop. The full stop is generally omitted when the abbreviation ends with the final letters of the word abbreviated or when the abbreviation is well recognized. So this point tells us where the full stop is omitted. That means where full stop is not used. So the full stop is not used when we know what are the abbreviations. Whenever the abbreviations are very popular, well recognized means they are very popular. If the abbreviations are very popular, we don't use full stop. And if the abbreviation ends with the final letters of the word, for example, let us look at this one. Mrs. Dutt arrived this morning. Now here Mrs. is a very well recognized abbreviation. So even if we don't put a full stop after Mrs., it is alright. The UN is making efforts to maintain peace worldwide. So here UN is again an abbreviation. So UN is a well recognized abbreviation also. In UN means United Nations. As some of you might already know, United Nation So here the last letter N is also the last letter of this word United Nation. This is the final letter of the word United Nations. So whenever the abbreviation ends with the final letter, at that time also we can omit full stop. So here there's no full stop between UN. The full stop is used in websites and email addresses. We know it very well since we have started giving online exams and revisions and tests. So these are the examples: www.university.com, these dots are full stops. Vinay75@gmail.com, so here this dot also is a full stop. Now these are some of the exercises. So in this exercise, which is given on page number 144 of your grammar textbook, you have to rewrite the sentences using capital letters, full stops and question marks. So I think this is gonna be quite easy for you. So this is your self study exercise. This is like your homework. This is like your self practice work. If you face any doubt here, you can ask me anytime. Now this is exercise B, which comes after exercise A. Here too you have to rewrite the sentences, punctuating them correctly. So this also you have to do on your own. This is also your self practice work. Next we have exercise C on page number 149, and we have exercise D on page number 150. These two pages too you have to do on your own. You have to do nothing except punctuating the paragraphs or punctuating the sentences which are given, which is going to be easy. If you find any doubts, you can ask me. So students, that's all for this chapter. See you again in the next chapter.